Saturday after a long week. And I was thinking about all the things that I've learned, I've heard. In one area, why are you targeted? And I do believe that there are so many things in this society that can happen to a person. Even if you're not gang-stalked, for instance, you can fall under the arm of the social services, or different programs that you're in. Mental health, alcoholism, suicide attempts. It's a whole new bag out there. And it goes along with whistleblowers, even movie stars who don't fall into the norm of what the Hollywood directors want can be blacklisted, gang-stalked. And there could be even revenge. Powerful people that take something out in you, and it could be done through corporations, blacklistings. The possibilities are endless. I recall for myself, back in the 1990s, as I left a law firm, the exit interviewer cryptically said to me, "You will not be able to work in this industry again." The industry was law. So I went to an insurance company, and with the insurance company, as time progressed, because the department was restructured, I had work harassment and mobbing and whatever. The mobbing, not so much as the work harassment. And it got progressively worse and worse and worse and worse until I left after my mother's death in May of 2007. So it was pretty traumatic, all these events, the way she died and whatever. But I didn't know about gang stalking. I didn't know about work harassment to the degree I know now. But I evaluated everything. And I would say that cryptic remark from this powerful corporation, a big law firm, there was something that happened a while before. And what it was we worked in a secretary's pool, and the pool was like 24/7. And one day I had the night shift, and I came to the night shift the next day, and they were saying to me I did something majorly wrong. Now, I don't know what I did. I just know that I was working on Word documents, on big, long legal forms and whatever. And there was a glitch. Something freezed up, and I was blamed for it. It was just I don't know what it was. So when I left, within a short time, because I forget, I started to notice things after that curious remark. And what did I notice? I actually noticed one of an employee of that firm had seen me go into one of the stores, which is in the same building because I was just next door, and they followed me to where I worked. And I believe that's where the whole thing started. Because, when you work for law, they can find out anything, right? So I would say that was my most prevalent thought as I became more and more aware of, like in the last few years, from the overt stage of 2011 to now, that was one of them. Powerful people. They have the ability to contact government and whatever. Okay? Now, when it comes to my very over-the-top relatives and their gang stalking, there's a lot of strange things about some facts about them. Now, it's not so much as personal facts, but some of it is. In 1999, one of them was trying to, all of a sudden, reached out to me, September of 1999, and I thought, wow, interesting. I met them. Then I met one of their other relatives, and what was strange was this other relative was talking to my other relative that I would be more, what I would say, who I would know more about. I hadn't been in contact with them for years. I found it strange, but that was back way when, and obviously I didn't know what the heck was going on. But all I can say about the 1999 individuals, that they were very abusive. But the one that I met, September 1999, he went to jail October 1999, got out April of 2000, and it was a very serious crime. Normally you can get anywhere from 5 to 10 or whatever. And when you look at it from this standpoint, from now, I thought, was he approached for a deal to perp me? You start to see, because they are over the top. They're very zealous in everything. So when I started to look at all this, it was really interesting. What was the most interesting was the 1999 person that I met, September. Their grandfather was a high official of the Masonic tradition. And the stories that were told to me, he was very powerful and he was very ruthless. And he had sway with judges and whatever. And I looked at all of this. Interesting, because in October of 2011, I met an investigator at a time when I really didn't know too much about gang stalking per se, and it's useless to get an investigator, which I obviously learned. He mentioned that he was a part of the Masonic Lodge, just out of thin air. And what is funny, when you look at it, his lodge is in the same town as these relatives I speak of, that they have their church in. Isn't that something? It might be not relevant. It could be. But, when you gather facts, you start to see all these patterns that go on. And what was funny about this person I met in September of 1999, his aunt told me he was already here for 3 years. Why all of a sudden, as he goes to jail, he wants to connect with his other relatives? Strange, isn't it? That's how I look at things now. I look at things with a fine-tooth comb. I'm very sure about the law firm, but the other one is very, very speculative, very interesting as to how you can sort of gather your facts. So, as I say, you can become a victim of this gang stalking from many, many sources these days. You know, like I've always said, when I first started out really looking at gang stalking, it mimics so much of the human trafficking. And the criteria, it mimics a lot like what a lone stalker would do. There's so many things within it, and then you have to think that they bring in the technology, they bring in all it was cleverly done. And like someone said, it really started in the 1990s with the advent of mobile phones and use more, and it goes on and on and on. But that is just, you know, a comment. So I just look at all these things and I go like, wow, this is really something else. So, you know, these are things I think about. And I was doing that last week. A lot of things were coming to me in clarity because I've lost, like I do logs. And I lost some of the earlier logs. And they had a lot of concrete things. Now, this video will sort of clarify things to me as well. Back in 2010, a new property manager came to my apartment building where I used to live, and his name was John R. And out of the blue, John R. told me he was a born-again Christian. He was formerly a biker, formerly an investigator. When you start tying up things, investigator, you know, these bogus investigations, yes. But I started to look at one aspect of his other statement, and that was born-again Christian. Why did he have to tell me that? And lo and behold, these relatives I live with are what you call fundamentalists, and they will put it right down your throat that they're born-again Christians, they're good people, godly people. And that was impressed upon me in the second month that I lived in their home back in 2012, because they found it offensive that I had these native baskets. And what I found was that basically, they brought me to the table, 3 people against 1, me traumatized, stressed out, and they were telling me, well, we don't believe in prayer baskets and whatever. And I said, well, it's just a decoration. Well, you know, we're godly people. This is a godly house. Yeah, godly. And there's another thing about it. You know, you think about the cults. And I'm not saying Christianity is a cult, but it's the cultish mindsets that really get involved. And I will tell you, they think they are right. Bottom line, they think they're right, what they're doing. But they're really protecting themselves from loss of home, social prominence and whatever, so they have a clique of whatever. That's one against all that brain mentality that there is. And I can say that when I look at it, it really brings home to me how fundamentally it's hard for some people to stay strong, because you can feel the weight of it. And I don't really want to get out of the subject matter, but I really want to talk about looking at things in a way that when you start your journey, even as a new TI, even if you're down the line, just looking at stuff without all the surplus stuff that's out there. It's about the game of survival, and it's very, very important. So, you know, that's what I say. There's so many variables in it and why is it that some have just physical gang stalking with all its bad stuff and no energy weapons? I think it depends on the person and the contracts that they get. I mean, there's contractors. Simple as that. You know, things reveal itself in the media, but when you put it all together, you'll see all these things that are already shouting at you. It's there. It's there. And that's the whole point of it, you know. So it's like, when I look at it, it really is very interesting. Anyways, this is the end of this particular video, and just wanted to put it out.